Hello, I'm John Brink, and we are podcasting on the Brink from Northern British Columbia, in the capital of Northern British Columbia, Prince George. It's a fall day, beautiful day though, and even then, Prince George is this beautiful, beautiful area, the colors of the trees and all the things around. The fall is one of my most favorite times, actually. And today is a special day. I have a guest and a friend that I introduced, Terri McConnachie.
Hello, John. It is such a pleasure to be here.
How are you doing, Terri?
I am doing fabulous. It's a little busy.
Yeah.
A little busy. I've got my running shoes on, and I took my red cape off just for this interview. But we're running.
Yeah. So it's kind of a special day because you're running for the mayor's job in Prince George.
I'm running for the full-time gig, John, the big chair.
Yeah, and the date, the election day is the 15th of October.
Correct.
Which is just kind of in politics tomorrow.
It's a week and a half away, and actually advanced voting is today at the Civic and Conference Center
already,
from 8 to 8. So I'm going to vote after this.
Yeah, and so now you've been on city council for 2 terms?
Correct.
Yeah, and quite an experience. The first time you got elected, was it in
2014?
14, yeah.
Yeah, was the first term, and then 2018 for term 2.
Yeah.
Yes.
What brought you to politics, though? Because it's quite a step. We watch it, and then, and then at some point we think about it, and then at some point we have to take the leap.
Oh, absolutely. And it is a big leap, and it's nothing like, my past career in nonprofits and in growing up in Prince George and raising my own family here. Yeah. It was never something that I had considered until we got closer to 2014. And I think what it takes is, it takes encouragement from those around you and people that love you. Yeah. And if you have that encouragement and just people asking you. Yeah. So that's what happened to me. Just, I think I'm grateful. People saw perhaps some skills, my passion for Prince George, my ability to work hard, a real superior work ethic. Yeah. And so with that support, then you can gather up the confidence. Yeah. Right? So to do it. And so I ran, and oh my gosh, I got, I came in on 6th or 7th or something. Yeah. In 2014.
How many
There's
councils?
8 council seats and then the mayor. Yes.
Yeah. And
so I made it in, and what an honor. I can't even overstate that enough. Yeah. The opportunity to learn and meet people and participate in decisions that affect our city, there's nothing like it.
Right. Now, you've been in Prince George for about 40 years?
Correct, yes.
So you have been here for a long, long time. You saw it going through one of the most important periods in Prince George, because Prince George, relatively speaking, is a new city compared to a lot of other places around the world.
Oh yes, we're just, I see we're still kind of like a teenager. Yeah. We're in those insolent years, if you will. Yeah. And still coming into our own. Yeah.
Now, if I could look back, at Prince George, particularly the last 8 years have been challenging years. A lot of things have happened to Prince George. Now, for our guest, if we look back in the background, what we see is the city of Prince George. We are on George Street, and right behind us we see the new swimming pool.
Yes.
And the infrastructure of Prince George, at one point when I first came here in the mid-60s, 65 actually, Prince George was a boom town.
Yes.
It was not a question of, the normal question would be, when did you get here and when are you leaving, kind of thing.
Absolutely.
It has changed dramatically, in particular in the last 10 years in terms of infrastructure, but also other things that have happened is UNBC, the University of Northern British Columbia, the best small university in Canada, 2, 3, 4 years in a row.
Pretty amazing. And the medical program, Northern Medical Program, that's been a game changer.
But no question.
Right, John? And the BC Cancer of the North. Yeah. That has been incredible. Yeah. Helpful for the quality of life. Yeah. For people who live here. And I have been running into lately is folks that grew up in Prince George, lived here, built careers, moved away, and they have moved back home to retire.
Yeah. I hear
it's
more
incredible.
And more of that too. Yeah.
So as I get out and about, and because I am running for the mayor's seat, I'm out talking to people on an amplified basis more than normal.
Yeah.
And so I'm getting these real stories in real time. Folks that said, "Yeah, I lived on the island, and it was great. It was nice, and it was a segment of my career. But when it came to settling down and where I wanted to retire, I wanted to come home to my friends." And my family in Prince George, because this is one of the best cities that I've ever lived in.
Yeah. And in
it
Canada,
is.
period, right? So,
yeah, it's pretty incredible. We're very, very fortunate.
And then in particular, then if you kind of think in terms of a challenging period for all of us around the world was the COVID period, and obviously still kind of phasing out of that. But a lot of people are rethinking in terms of, do I want to live in a big city? Do I still want to, takes me an hour and a half to get to work? All those kind of things, and saying, no, I want to change, and looking at our area here, I think within 50 miles or 80 kilometers around us, we got 1,000 lakes, and nature is so close to us. Last week I saw two black bears just crossing the road and within the city limits, and we see foxes, we see moose, we see everything. We're living with nature, and it's such a beautiful, as I said during the opening, driving around and seeing the colors change in the fall.
And at the same time, we have experienced the greatest growth construction explosion.
Yeah.
The landscape of the city doesn't even look the same.
Yeah.
There's hotels, there's housing, there's student housing. You can just take a look around, and there has been an awful lot additional multifamily, seniors housing. We have a thriving arts community.
Yeah.
It's very thriving. We have a symphony orchestra.
Yeah.
We have professional theater.
Yeah.
We have education. The College of New Caledonia, University of Northern BC.
Yeah.
And I was asked at the candidating last night at a library event, what do you love about Prince George? And I said, well, I can drive from my house to work, and I have to drive around the block to hear the end of Purple Rain by Prince, right? So it's close, and the city is big enough where you don't know everybody, but it's small enough where you know everybody.
Yeah, more or less, right?
Yeah. And I think even folks that have come here to visit or stay for a short time or a work period.
Yeah.
It is, people always say how friendly people are in Prince George.
Yeah. Now, I would be remiss if I did not say the College of New Caledonia, also a major organization that has all around the area region. It has satellites in Quesnel and Burns Lake and Vanderhoof and North. An amazing organization.
Yes, and trades programs.
And absolutely great programs. So more and more we are becoming, where it was at one point a place where you want to make money. Now it has become a perfect community to raise a family, or for that matter to retire and enjoy the world around you, and still be close enough to a big city if you wanted to go there.
Oh, absolutely. You can come here and embrace higher education, build a career. So many times we hear about young men or women. They say, "Oh, I came here because my partner, my spouse, was living here, working here. His or her family was here."
Right.
So there's a real love connection in Prince George. I'm mindful of that too.
Yeah.
We grow some really amazing people, and people from outside of Prince George fall in love with them, and then we bring them over to our side too. Then they grow families.
Yeah, no question about it. So you came here in about 82 in that area?
No, you know what? I was and talking to my mom. She had the exact date. I think it was like July 8th, 1971.
71.
Yes.
And where were you before that then?
Born in Chilliwack, and then we lived in Lillooet, little town Lillooet, mile 0. That's where my folks met. They met in high school.
Yeah.
And
amazing,
it's great.
Yeah.
It's really nice. It's a beautiful place to visit. It's a very unique town.
And what brought you here? To
My father's work.
Yeah.
With finning, BC Rail finning, as a heavy-duty mechanic.
Yeah.
And my mom was a stay-at-home mom, and
Yeah.
I'm the oldest of four girls.
Yeah.
And so we lived in several little areas. I went to Giscombe Elementary.
Yeah.
Out in Giscombe, lived in Willow River on the Willow side of the bridge.
Yeah, yeah.
And Sacred Heart, the Prince George College, Ron Brent.
Yeah.
I think 7 schools in 12 years. Graduated from Kelly Road.
Yeah.
Kelly Roader.
Can you
and
believe it? Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
And that school, even the building's not there anymore. It's been rebuilt, of course, but my building, my school, where I met my husband.
Yeah.
And I found him in the hallways in grade 10-ish. And he was like one of the tallest people in the crowded hallways.
Oh my goodness.
And he had hair down here and it kind of just like blew in the wind. And he had Jordache jeans, volleyball runners, and a chocolate brown leather jacket. And I thought...
Love on first sight?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's no doubt. It literally happens.
Yeah.
It's a phenomenon. And it certainly worked for me.
Yeah.
So we'll have been married 34 years.
Yeah.
November 19th.
Amazing, eh?
Yeah.
You know, how that all kind of happens.
Oh, I'm a very lucky woman.
So now on the other part, you've been very involved in the community in a number of areas, right? So tell us a little bit about that.
One of my most funnest jobs have been in the non-for-profit sector.
Yeah.
And I love events, and I love working with boards and different committees. And there's nothing better when you work with a group of people to pull off something great.
Yeah.
That is really cool. So I managed the site out at Hubble Homestead.
Yeah.
That was great. I was a pioneer woman by the end of that season with no running water and hosting all of our events out there. Worked with phenomenal people out there. The Hubble House is the oldest house in situ in our region.
Unique.
So a lot of history around there. And my job as general manager with the PGX, now it's the BCNE, bringing that into its centennial event.
Yeah.
Some of the best years of my life were working with people there.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
And that was a critical period for them as well that you were there, right?
Oh, yes. And 50,000 people over 4 or 5 days would come through those gates.
Right.
There was
immensely successful event.
So much fun.
Yeah.
We would have team penning, 300 teams of penners and 300 head of cattle over in the rodeo grounds to draft horse to light horse to miniature horse to pole bending and all different kinds of agriculture. Yeah. And then the Midway and Home Arts, biggest pumpkin and all the entries. Yeah. I loved it.
And then
I
the
worked
Home
with
Building
good
Association,
people.
you were...
That's where I'm at now.
Yeah.
So I went right from the Fair Board to working with the Canadian Homebuilders Association of Northern BC. Yeah. And now I went from working with primarily farmers and rural folks, and they work hard. Yeah. Oh my gosh, right? And then now, people that I work with now, they work 24/7, 365 in this industry.
That's what it takes.
In construction.
Right? Yeah.
It takes a lot of guts. It takes a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of bravery. Yeah. Right? So it's a tough industry.
It is.
To be in. But we, people that belong to my association are literally building communities. Yeah. Right? One home at a time.
Yeah, and during a period, again, the last 10 years in particular, where all of that has changed dramatically. At one point, with all due respect, there wasn't much imagination to building really houses, and you had standard 3-bedroom house with a basement and and a carport or a garage, and then saying that was it. Then.
Well, you're right. I mean, now the biggest thing that's on deck now is with the BC Energy Step Code, houses are being built more efficient. Yeah. So as part of the Clean BC initiative, the housing industry is really participating in climate change and environmental impact to reduce the carbon effects on the environment. And by 2030, the goal is to have every home built will have the opportunity to produce the energy that it consumes. Right. So a net zero energy home using a renewable energy to bring in that last 20% required. So People that I work with are very creative, very intrepid, and are really embracing this opportunity. It's not only the right thing to do, they want to do and build better, but it's better comfort, better indoor air quality. Houses will last longer. It's pretty cool. That whole industry is changing.
Yeah, and as you know, I'm also a developer with one of my companies under the umbrella of the Brink Group.
Absolutely.
And so what we kind of doing is looking forward, and we want to build for tomorrow, not just to lay in the minimum possible, but already bearing that in mind that not so much as to be ready by that time, but already the public more or less demands now, how far are we going towards the green build and being very proactive.
And another thing I think that would be, this is a great opportunity to have this conversation with you, John, because of your position, is I think there would be some value to design of our new construction so that it, for the aging in place, the concept of aging in place.
Right.
I don't think it would be very difficult, and you correct me if I'm wrong, or cost additional, just more of a design, so that somebody, younger could stay, and as a couple, they're not in their 70s, maybe 80s, or any time with mobility issues, now they have to move and find another home. But if the hallways could be wider, the doorways, the plug-ins up higher for wheelchair access,
exactly,
and have the supports behind the walls for the bars and the showers and by the commode and things like that.
I agree.
Don't you think that would be cool for your new developments?
Very important.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's something that seniors are asking for.
Yeah.
Because it is proven that folks thrive better when you're home. Home is home. And it's better to be home for as long as possible.
That way, right? To leave is the last thing that you hope to do, especially when things become more challenging and difficult, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The Prince George Council of Seniors has programs that are supporting seniors longer in their homes.
Yeah.
So I think we could help. The construction industry could really help with that by designing homes for all homes.
And so if I look, hypothetically speaking, at Prince George as a community where I want to retire, as a lot of people now are doing, starting to look at it, and then I look around and saying, it's a progressive community in terms of we have universities. That helps me because my grandchildren may decide to be here, to be educated. There are jobs available here because it's still in its infancy in regards to development of an industrial factories here, and industry will be already is attractive, and we have the attention of major smart money that is looking at where do we go from here, because Prince George is the center of British Columbia, but also a major corridor from Asia to the U.S. Midwest and Eastern Seaboard, and we, for all intents and purposes, are an inland port, and that is again very active in terms of what will it look like 5-10 years from now, and smart money is looking at how do we place ourselves that we are part of that growth that is going to happen here.
Absolutely. We're perfectly positioned to capture opportunities that are there now and opportunities we're not even aware of yet.
Exactly. And then again, for investors and those that are looking forward to the potential of Prince George, and that's kind of why I came here 60 years ago virtually, as looking at this, that it is not if, but when. This will, and I say this respectfully, this will become a major engine to the development of what I call the other half of the province.
Yes.
And then I say to my friends down south that probably 75-80% of the GDP of the province of British Columbia is generated in northern BC. Don't you forget it. You know. So.
Good for you, John. Yes, we had a board chair. Whenever we went down with Canadian Homebuilders, people would tease him because when you would do the round table, he would go, I'm Gordon Bliss, I'm from Prince George, I'm from the economic engine of northern BC, I'm from the economic engine of the province, from northern BC. And people go, oh my goodness. But he just kept saying it, right? Exactly. So because it is the truth. He wanted folks from the Lower Mainland to understand you need to support us.
And that then being said, Terry, is that, the past 8 years were changing Prince George dramatically. The next 10 will equally or even more so change Prince George. And then that being said, and you being a candidate, tell us a little bit about what your platform is going forward as you look not only at Prince George, but as a leader in northern BC community that is being looked at by others as leaders. And that showed really when we had the fires here in 2018-19 and 17-18-19, and where Prince George really took on a leadership role in terms of accommodating hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of people.
Well, a whole nother city bunked in with us.
Yeah.
For a summer. They literally moved in, and that was incredible. I can't remember how many babies were born.
Yeah.
There was actually a photo of it,
Yeah.
of all the babies that were born. Best laid plans at home in Williams Lake, and children were born here. People passed away here.
Yeah.
We literally brought them in under our wing, and we bunked in together. And that was pretty much half my first term.
Yeah.
And then this recent term, we just don't talk about the wildfires as much anymore because it's been replaced with COVID.
Yeah.
And so COVID being around the world,
Yeah.
our little piece of paradise here was also very affected also, of course.
Yeah.
And so we really had to make sure that we were driving the bus.
Yeah.
And leading our city.
And being looked at as leaders, bringing everybody in northern BC together.
Absolutely.
And then especially then, you as potential mayor looking forward, tell us a little bit about how you see that in terms of, looking back the 8 years that you were involved were changing. The council has been, in my opinion, very proactive, and under the leadership of the mayor and Lynn Hall, and who has chosen to retire. And then you as a new candidate for that particular position, how do you look forward in terms of the economic development of Prince George, but also in regards of that leadership role in northern BC, really?
Well, Lynn Hall has left some very big shoes to fill, and I'm mindful of that.
Yeah.
And regardless of what chair you have around the council table, you get one vote.
Yeah.
Whether you're a side hustle as a councillor, because most councillors are there, it's part full-time-ish, but most folks have another job at the same time.
Yeah.
So that position of mayor is pivotal.
Yeah.
That is the person that is the outward face.
Yeah.
And that is there to embrace opportunities, to be out there, be the face, meeting folks, and having the radar on to capture opportunities that are not, we don't even know about yet.
Yeah.
So it is a very, very important position.
Yeah.
It has to be somebody that is professional, smart, the ability to work with others.
Good leadership.
Which I think the most important skill, John, of a mayor position or anybody in a senior leadership position is the ability to work with other people.
Yeah.
It's just essential.
Yeah.
One person, when I hear about how one person's going to go in and do XYZ, it's impossible for one person to pull off anything good.
Yeah.
And it takes partnerships.
Yeah.
It's going to be partnerships with our economic development arm of the city. It's going to be meeting regular with representatives from our forestry industry, mining, the future of greener energy. Industry is going to take the lead on that if we open the door, and with different levels of government providing incentives. They will take the lead. They are. Look at our hydrogen plant here. So there's going to be more of that. People are smart. There are brilliant people out there that are keen on solving problems. And as a mayor, we just have to be there to invite them to bring these opportunities to the table and discuss how we can capture those.
We are a can-do city. That's what we want. And Smart Money is looking at the region in northern British Columbia as the land of opportunity. And then It appears to me that because of your background, obviously you're a very effective communicator. That is already obvious in, because of your experience, that has served you well.
It has, John. It has. Working in the different jobs that I have, it's always taken a whole team to make anything happen.
Yeah.
And that's the part I like best.
Yeah.
It doesn't just share the responsibility, but it shares an opportunity with others.
Yeah.
And there's nothing better than cooperation.
Yeah.
How many times have you had a conversation with somebody, you think a certain way, John, you have a conversation with 1 or 2, 3 people, and your mind has changed. Yeah. Or you open it, or a light bulb, and you go, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I had tunnel thinking. I had one way of thinking. I've been challenged.
Correct.
And I'm grateful to the people who presented that challenge.
Yeah.
It just makes you a better person.
Yeah, no question about that.
Well-rounded.
Yeah.
Right? So,
no question about that.
Yes.
Now, we already know that being a mayor is not an easy job. It is a demanding job, a challenging job on a day-to-day basis. This is just not, we'll start around 10 o'clock and then by 3, no, it's not that kind of a job. It's a 24/7 job for all intents and purposes.
It is.
So at what point did you have to say to the family, sit down, I got to talk to you? No,
Yes.
I want to go and become the mayor of Prince George. How did that process go? Because you have your family on site, obviously, and then I'm sure you have been deliberating it. Should we, because it's virtually we as a family unit, make that commitment, and obviously you found the support. Tell me a little bit about that.
Oh, John, you're not wrong. At the council or mayor level, you cannot do it and invest the time that is necessary to do it right without the blessing of your family.
Yeah.
There's many missed dinners.
Yeah.
That being said, mayor or councillor, I think family does have to come first, regardless of whatever is happening.
Always.
If needed by your family, to manage expectations, regardless of whether you're mayor or councillor, I think it's very fair of that human that's existing in those seats that has that opportunity to be okay and comfortable that our community is going to support them when their family comes first. Yeah. So I was encouraged. I was going to run for my council seat.
Yeah.
Then when Mayor Hall announced he was going to retire, I started to think about it a little bit more.
Yeah.
We had some great candidates come forward, really good candidates. Yeah. And I thought, that's okay, I can still run for my chair and be a support to whoever gets in the mayor's chair. Well, because I'm just not ready yet. Yeah. I'll do it in another term. Yeah. I'll put it off for another 4 years and then maybe do it then. And there was just such a groundswell of support from people that I admire and people that I trust. Yeah. But the final say was Kevin. Yeah. There's no doubt about that. Yeah. And I said to him, how do you feel about it? Or should I just wait? And he said, Terri, why wait? Your time is now. He said, remember your slogan in 2014 on your first run was elect Terri McConnachie, the time is now. Yeah. He goes, Terri for mayor, the time is now. Yeah. He said, I've known you your whole life. Yeah. Pretty much. Yeah. And there's nobody that I know better that makes decisions that come from the right place at all times with a little side of kick-ass when things go off the rails. Yeah. But there's nobody I know that will do a better job than you. And a friend. My wife. And I support you 100%. Let's do this. That's Kevin, right? That's Kevin. Yeah, tell us a little bit about Kevin. So how could I say no to that? He's just my biggest cheerleader. So just looking at his face, is he working? He will be retiring. His plan was to retire early 2023. So what did he do? He works for CUPE as a national rep for the school districts. Oh, okay. And so he worked for the city through high school. Mowing lawns. When we were in Kelly Road together, he would work summers. Mowing grass and whatnot in the parks department. And then worked his way up. And then we raised our family.
Yeah, tell me a little bit more. I want to know more about your family.
Yes.
So your kids and...
Yes, thank you for asking. I always want to talk about my family. Yes, so Kevin's family moved out here from Ontario in the 70s for the job at the pulp mills.
Yeah.
And so a lot of folks came out from Ontario and out east, Newfoundland, all came out here for those jobs. And same story. They're just going to stay here for a decade or so, maybe get some money behind them, right? And then go back home.
Yeah.
Well, they all stayed, and then more family came out. And so Kevin's parents were here, and some uncles and aunts and cousins. And Kevin moved to Bear Lake from Cambridge, Ontario to Bear Lake. That was a bit of a...
Was he working at the sawmill then? Or?
Well, but he was just a child then, so he went to Bear Lake Elementary. But yes, he did work in the sawmill there. Okay. Thanks for asking. You reminded me. Yeah. And his dad worked at Polar Forest in HR.
Ferguson Lake Sawmills at one point.
Yes.
Polar,
you're right.
And Canfor,
Yes. So Kevin and I, when we met in high school, and we got married, and we moved to Vancouver, we moved to Toronto, like any young couple wants to. They think, let's get out of here, right? Get away from our parents in this small town and go live in the big city. Yeah. Well, we came back fairly shortly, right? Just to be where our families were. And then when we got married in November 1989, we've had 3 children. Yeah,
tell me about your children.
Yes, Melissa, Michelle, and Mike. Melissa is 33, I think. I'm thinking, this is a test. This is a test. Oh my gosh. Yeah. And she's married to Martin Lacasse. Who
do they live here?
They live here. Lacasses have a century farm out in the Salmon Valley, out in the valley. Yeah, an old farm. Couple generations there. Yeah. And Michelle married Cole, Reed Lake. Both my daughters married farm guys. With wonderful families. Yeah. And the weddings were perfect. Yeah. Because the families just matched. Yeah. And we're just all very good friends. Yeah. And our clans really joined together. Right. And our son just turned 30 in August. Yeah. And he has his own company.
Okay, what does he do?
He has Highlander Millwright Services, and he is a millwright machinist. Okay. So he's all over the place. Okay. Working throughout the north and in Alberta.
Maybe sometimes, yeah.
He's so smart. Yeah. He's very good at what he does. One with one on the way. Yeah. So Jason Patrick Devereaux is our one. He is 5. He just started kindergarten. Yeah. So I was there for the first day of kindergarten. Yeah. And we have one more in around December 15th. Yeah. Will be arriving.
Excellent.
Oh yeah, I'm so excited. Yeah. A Christmas baby. Yeah. Yeah.
So there we are, and the first early voting is going to take place today already, and then October the 15th is a week and a half away or something like that. Yes. And anything else that comes to mind that you want to mention as we sit here and kind of look forward and saying, Terri, in a week and a half your world is going to change because you've been elected, or
John, I just can't encourage people enough to get out and vote. Yeah. Right? There's a lot of crazy things going on in the world. Yeah, and that's people just need to get out and vote. It is so critically important, right? And then the other thing about it that I admire about us collectively is that, and especially when you mention look around the world, how civil we are even in elections, that if I look around, it's a blood sport and it gets mean and bad. And it doesn't have to be. I mean, there's 6 of us running.
It still can be respectful.
100%.
And make the case. But the most important part is that we are all stakeholders in that as voters. And sometimes, at the risk of being a little bit critical, is saying that we don't take the time to go and vote. And if you want to be part of this amazing province and this amazing country, in northern BC in particular, go vote, and then, because then allows you the benefit. So many countries in the world don't have the privilege of being able to vote. It is one of the most important privileges that you can have as an individual.
Of
that
humankind.
Right. Exercise it, right?
Yes, indeed. And it's free and it's accessible.
Yeah.
And information, I encourage people to make an informed vote, second, and to really do their background. Yeah. There's 6 of us running for the seat of mayor.
Yeah.
And I encourage people to look into my platform, reach out to me. Yeah. I'm more than happy to have a discussion. Yeah. As it has been said around town, John, may the best woman win. Yeah.
And then what I'm trying to do is, the interview, in particular the mayor candidates, and, before the 15th, hopefully, and that means doing maybe as many as 2 a day sometimes. But yes. I think that's important as well, to have a platform. Not saying that I'm so important, but other than it gives us a conversation and maybe see parts of you that they didn't know. And you're
I agree.
Unique individual and, a highly effective communicator, and be pleased to have you. And as a councillor, and now potentially running for mayor, is going to be exciting.
It is going to be very exciting. Yeah. So get out and vote, Prince George.
Terri, thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, John.
And good luck.
Thank you.
Thanks.
It's always a pleasure.
I'll give you a hug later, because we are tied up right now on other things. And
yes.
And
on election night.
Yeah. So I enjoyed our discussion, and hope that our public and the voters in particular in Prince George got to know you a little bit better. And as we said, on the 15th or before that, make sure you vote.